Hey guys, Surg here, and today I'm going to do a mod spotlight on a fairly new mod called Agriculture. This mod's only been out for about 4 months, and it expands on the cooking and farming and the hunger system of Minecraft. What it does is it enhances the food in the game by adding 6 new machines and over 120 recipes. It also adds a brand new mechanic called the well-fed system. And basically, the well-fed system just makes it so that you don't get hungry as often. Agriculture does add a little bit of world gen. As you can see here, we have salt ore, vanilla plants, cinnamon plants, these are strawberries, and these are peanuts. Now, the vanilla plants and the cinnamon plants are unique, as you just right click and you can, right there, we got some vanilla. Now this cannot be planted. Same thing with the cinnamon. Right click and you get, left click and you get some cinnamon. These as well cannot be planted. But if we take all of them here, and you see we can't take any more, if we break it, you can take the actual plant and plant that. The strawberries and the peanuts, on the other hand, you have to actually break. And what you get from the strawberries is, obviously, we get these strawberries, and those you can plant. Same thing with the peanuts. You break them, you get a whole bunch, and you can plant the peanuts. Those will grow into another plant that you can harvest again. So if we wanted, we can do 2 peanut plants. As I said earlier, this mod does add new machines, 6 of them. So let's go ahead and place these down and I'll show you what they do. And if you wonder how to make them, you can always look up in NEI. The fryer is made like this. Icebox, brewer, processor, the counter, and the oven. And I'll show you what they do. Most of these blocks have 2 sides that you would use for interface. The counter, we'll start with this one. The front is just like a chest. So we're going to put our items in, just like you would a chest. I'm going to keep those out. The top is a crafting table, but it's specific to this mod. The oven, the front interface, is basically where you cook stuff. You have a spot here for fuel, you have a slider for your heat level that you can adjust, and you have the spots that you can put food to be cooked. Now, you can put oven racks in here, and they increase the capacity for what you can cook. Oven racks right now are not quite working like they're supposed to. The recipe for an oven rack is supposed to be iron bars like this, but for some reason, it's not working. I'm sure it'll be fixed in the future. The top of the oven is just like the counter. It's the crafting grid that you would use for this mod. The processor has a slot in the front for fuel, and on top, you can use it to process your items, and I'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later in this spotlight. The icebox only has one interface, which you can access from the top or the front. You might be able to access it from the back. Nope. And what this does is it keeps your items cold or chills them. Your fryer has 2 interfaces, one in the front for fuel and the top for your processing. The brewer has one interface on the top, and that's just for brewing items. You also put your fuel in the same slot. So let's go ahead, and what I want to make is a meal. I want to make a double bacon cheeseburger and some strawberry ice cream. Now, just like any sandwich, we need to start out with bread. So let's go ahead and go into our counter here, get some wheat, and I'll show you how to make bread. First thing we're going to need is some flour. So we throw the wheat into the processor here, and throw a little bit of coal in here for fuel, and you can see now we have flour. We can throw a whole bunch in here and it'll just process away. So now we have some flour, and what we're going to need, grab some iron, is a bucket, or couple. Okay, let's go ahead and grab some water. And if we go up here to the crafting grid, we can put a bucket of water and flour, and that makes dough. Now what we can do with the dough, well, let's go ahead and cook it. So if you put fuel in your oven here, you can see that it starts to heat up. Now we can adjust where we want the heat level, but for right now we're just going to let it go. The higher the heat level, the faster it's going to cook, and I'm going to leave this, I'm going to walk away, and I'm going to show you what happens. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and make another piece of dough, and we'll start working on the next piece. So we're making bread. Well, it's a cheeseburger. It's a double bacon cheeseburger, but it needs a burger. So to get a burger, let's go ahead and go back in here. We're going to need some beef and our processor. And we put the beef in there, and that makes ground beef. Let's go ahead and make a couple of those. You can't just cook this up. We actually have to make it into something. So let's go ahead and we put beef there, beef here. Now we have a raw hamburger patty. Let's go ahead and make a couple of them. And we're going to want to cook those up. Now remember, we walked away from our oven. Now we have a burnt loaf of bread. That's no good. So with this mod, you definitely have to watch your food, because if you let it go too long, it will burn. So let's go ahead and throw a couple of beef patties in here and wait for them to cook up. So now we have hamburger patties and a loaf of bread. But a loaf of bread really isn't going to help us. We need slices. So what we would do is take the loaf of bread, put it in your crafting grid, and now you get a couple of slices of bread. Now you would think you can just put slice of bread, and a hamburger patty, but it doesn't quite work that way. You actually need utensils. In this case, we need plates. Let me go ahead and grab some clay here, and I'll show you over here. We can make plates just by putting 3 pieces of clay. So now we have our clay, and we have to cook them up. Because right now, they're just raw plates. Okay, so this is going to finish cooking up, but we have a couple of plates, and that should be fine for right now. So if we go back here and we add a plate, there we go. Now we have a hamburger. Let's go ahead and make another one. Plate, hamburger patty, 2 slices of bread. It doesn't matter what order you put it in as long as you have all of the ingredients. So now we have 2 hamburgers. But we wanted double bacon cheeseburgers. Well, we have hamburgers. Let's make some cheese. So the first thing we're going to need is some milk, but we actually need a cup of milk. So let's go ahead and make one more recipe here. Cups. And just like the plates, we do have to cook them up. So I'm going to let this cook, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to let this finish, but we do have a couple of cups. So to get a cup of milk, it's just a cup and milk. And there we go. We have a cup of milk. Now, you can't make cheese with milk alone. So what we need is a little bit of sugar cane. And if we go over here to the brewer, we should be able to put a bucket of water to add the water to the brewer. A little bit of fuel. And our sugar cane. And that'll get us vinegar. And if I put my cup in here, Now we have a cup of vinegar. If we go to the counter here, we can put our vinegar and our milk. We have cheese. Now we need sliced cheese, so it's just like the bread. Throw it in your crafting grid. Now you have slices of cheese. If we go here, hamburger, cheese, cheeseburger. Makes sense. Hamburger, cheese. Oh, gotta go the other way. Cheeseburger. Now, we wanted a bacon cheeseburger. So, we're going to need a little bit of pork. But, that's where this world gen comes in. We also need salt. So, if you break this here, the salt ore, you're going to get a couple of pieces of salt. And from my experimentation, you get 4. Where is it? Now, if we take salt and our pork, we get salted pork. And if we cook that up in our oven, add a little bit of fuel, we'll get bacon. And I'll give this a second to finish. And there we go. So now we have bacon. And if we add that to our cheeseburger, voila, we get a bacon cheeseburger. Go ahead and do another one. And just like you might think, double bacon cheeseburger. So far we've used the counter, the oven, the processor. We've used the brewer. Well, what's the icebox and the fryer for? Well, let's go ahead and make strawberry ice cream. So just like our cheese, we're going to need milk because we're making ice cream. But we can't just use milk. We need a cup of milk. So, cup of milk. Now we have a cup of milk and we're going to need some sugar. And if we throw that here, and you can't just put ice cream in a cup. We need to have something else. Bowls will work. So let's go ahead and cook those up, just like we did the cups and the plates. And I'll be right back once this finishes. And now we have our bowls. So if we go over here and throw one bowl, now we have some ice cream mix. If we take the ice cream mix and add some strawberries, we have strawberry ice cream mix. Last thing we need is to chill it, and that's where the icebox comes in. We'll go ahead and throw some ice in here, and that'll get it nice and cold, and throw our strawberry ice cream mix in here. We'll give it a minute. This will take just a little bit to cool down, and we'll have some ice cream. There we go. So now we have some strawberry ice cream and a double bacon cheeseburger. But what about the fryer? Well, the fryer, we want to go ahead and throw some fuel in. And I want to take a plate and a potato. And now we have diced potatoes. And if we go to our fryer and we put in our potatoes, now you can't just cook the potatoes in the fryer. We actually need some cooking oil. So that's why I harvested some peanuts. And what I can do is take some water and a cup. And now I have a cup of water. So I take roasted peanuts and a cup of water. Oh, I took the raw peanuts. There we go. So now we have some cooking oil that we can throw in the fryer here. And French fries. So now we have a full meal. French fries, double bacon cheeseburger, and strawberry ice cream for dessert. And if we eat it, the well-fed system is supposed to put a gold bar or gold outline around your hunger, and it's supposed to stop you from getting hungry as fast. This is still a work in progress, and I'm sure there's more coming down the line. This is just a few of the recipes that you can make. Like I said before, there are over 120 of them, and more being added all the time. I hope you enjoyed, and go ahead and leave a like and a comment. And with that, I will see you guys later.